This is talkSPORT MMA, and I am delighted to be joined again by none other than Tony Ferguson. Tony, big fight coming up December 20th. Where do I find you today?
I'm I'm here at my academy in Orange County, California, Costa Mesa, about ready to get some sparring in, get my hands wrapped, and finish some media obligations before I fly out to Dubai next week. How's everything out there, my friend?
Oh, everything is great, Tony. The last time I spoke to you was in Manchester. You were doing your media ahead of your fight with Salt Papi. You went in there, you got the job done, and I remember you telling me, just how much you were enjoying the Misfits experience, and you didn't know anyone compared to, obviously during your time in the UFC, you got to build relationships, you got to
I was
know
just
people
saying
over
that. I was
time.
just saying that.
But then now
Yep.
in Misfits, it's a new environment. It looks like you're feeling comfortable. I mean, that was a statement win against Sol Papi. There was a lot of love from the MMA world out there to see you get your hand raised again. Can you just describe me those initial emotions after you got that win against Sol Papi and how you kind of reflect on that now?
You play video games?
Sometimes, not as much as I used to,
Has there ever been a video game that you can never beat?
that I can never.
Like really beat? Like you're like always frustrated, like you couldn't
Oh,
get past a certain level?
oh, 100%.
What happens when you beat that level? How do you feel?
Oh, there's no better feeling.
No better feeling, right? So it was like that, but like I bottled it all up and I kept it kind of like with like Goku doing like Super Saiyan like 20 million. Like it just felt like I was under fire. It was the coolest feeling in the world to like just everything all at once. Be so thankful like that the normal hard work went into something really good. Like it was, oh my gosh, big blessing, man. It was cool.
That's so awesome to hear. And now you're back in there on December 20th, the fight before Christmas. It's being billed. Warren Spencer. Can you tell me how much you knew about Warren before the fight was announced?
So when it goes into a lot of social media, we'll call it social media with the CSO, the social media. It's I really don't follow too much of it. I've always been so busy, even with sports. I don't follow too much sports and entertainment. Usually with the highlights and headliners that come through with Instagram feeds and everything, I usually keep up with everything. Never really heard of. I know that before this, I was looking forward to fighting Gibb. Gibb, taller opponent, more lanky. He was the holder of the belt that was at this weight class. He didn't want to fight. He's got other things apparently, or maybe he's scared. Damn. But in the regardless of what it is, vacated it. Defender vacated that. Now I'm fighting Warren Spencer. Warren Spencer, right-handed fighter, gamer opponent, likes to talk what some of his opponents would say, expecting that he wants to get in your head kind of thing. Um, athlete, you know, I see that he is willing to learn. I met him when we were at the face off with Dylan Danielson mechanic. I was like right in the middle of both of them. And I didn't realize I was going to fight them. But at the end of the day, we're all gentlemen. We're all going to go in there. We're going to do our best that we can. And we're all going to prepare leading up to this. And I know Warren's that type of dude where he's going to prepare the best that he possibly can, especially with Andrew. Andrew and his ear, over there in Dubai already, and his, nothing bad about that. But yeah, like when I said to the other interviewer, I was like, be smart to listen to the people that are able to listen or to give you some guidance on some things. You
Mm.
know, so I see them sparring a little bit. I saw Andrew get hit or hit Warren a little hard on one of the punches and gave him like $100,000 watch. I'm like, dude, I hit my guy all the time. I break his rib. I don't give. So my student looked at me. He's like, "Can I get a watch?" I'm like, I have to get you one of the egg watches that Patty Finley was telling me about.
That's how the world works these days, Tony. That's
Oh my,
that's how
well,
it
look, you
goes.
think about it. I mean, like in the reality, I get how the world works, but some people are like that, and some people are not. Some people are real athletes.
Mm. That
I'm a real athlete. I'm a real athlete. I've got a lot of accolades when it comes into football, baseball, wrestling. Not so much tennis and hockey, but I finagled in it, and I love the sport.
mm.
I found myself going out there and shaving ice just so I could skate. Like that's the kind of fun stuff. Like if you haven't ever lived that life to try to figure stuff out, and you've ever just always paid for stuff to be able to get done, The creativity is not there, and you're not going to find it inside the cage or in the ring.
Yeah.
Just saying. Yeah, a butler's not going to be able to go in there and handle this for you. Doesn't matter if you call time. You got a real athlete in front of you, and I'm going to go in there. I'm going to test your chin. I'm going to test your liver. I don't owe you anything bad because I mean the talk that we talk is it's nice. It's good because this is the fight before Christmas. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna hit this kid hard. I'm gonna hurt him. I'm gonna try to break his teeth.
Mm.
You know, that's
That,
it.
that's something I actually had noted. I wanted to ask you about, Tony. You saying that, I'm an athlete, and just in terms of yourself, in terms of comparisons with Warren and the differences what you have, and I think that's something, when when people ask you questions, like how can you see yourself winning this fight, or what advantages do you have, or when people ask Warren what advantages he has, do you think the fact that you have been in there and you have been in with the toughest guys, the RDAs, the Barbosas, the Gaethjes, the Nate Diaz of the world, and the fact that you're an athlete, you've kind of been through the ringer, and Warren has said a lot in interviews that you've got all these skills in MMA, but he says you're coming into his world now into boxing, and so all of that goes out the window. But to me, I don't think that does go out the window. I think that plays a bigger role than he thinks. But what's your kind of response to that?
I'm an athlete, a multiple sport athlete. I've been waiting to box my whole entire life. I wasn't allowed to, so I fought other ways, thus making why I'm such a good fighter in the cage. So I didn't have to have gloves to knock people out, especially growing up. I was one of the only ones that looked like me in a place where I grew up, so I had to fight a lot. Just interesting how that works. I'm an athlete and I'm a cornerback. I'm a lot of different types of athletes. If you think about like the mentality, a cornerback has to watch everybody's back. They have to understand the deep routes and they have to have the responsibility. They can't get beat on the outside. You also have what? You also have a wrestler. The wrestler, that type of wrestler that I am, like you have to be super smart. You have to be able to have score time position out of that. What's the score? What time is? How much on time do we have on the clock? What's the position that we? This is all that I'm thinking about. That this things is just a fight.
Mm.
That we're just gonna go in there slinging gloves. No, I'm that guy on Limitless. That like, oh, I don't take peptides. I don't take my stuff comes from natural hard work. Where my coaches pushed me to the freaking to the limit because they knew that about me. They knew that I needed that kind of drive and force because otherwise it was going to go to somewhere where it didn't need to.
Mm.
This is what I needed. This is what I do. And this is why I get so passionate about it. It's because when you have people that don't understand, I don't have to get too mad about it and be like, yeah, you. Now, dude, you're not me. I'm not better than you. I'm just not you. I don't get it. I get what you get, but like I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna school you. Like any other video game I would do, like any other board game, or like any other test that you put me up against you. I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna learn it, and I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna apply it, and then I'm gonna teach it afterwards.
Did you know that he had a fight last week?
Yeah, but I had a fight the other week too, man. Except without all the lights, and it's a
Did
glorified sparring match. It got him ready for what he's gonna go through. That's
mm,
called mental preparation. The smart thing is if Tate ran that and he actually recommended it. I've had Kevin Lee and one of my opponents, his coach passed away, rest of the soul. He had run Kevin through the whole entire motions of the fight to try to fix some mistakes and so on and so forth. He called it mental prep. And the
mm.
psychology of that is to be able to see where your athlete is going to make or break, where you can fix certain things. You go through the process, you understand you don't have that many jitters and you understand it, which is what you want.
Did you watch any of
That's
that
all you
fight? The guy he was fighting was 44-29, his boxing record, some Bosnian guy. And I watched a couple of minutes of it earlier. He stopped him with a body shot in the second round. I'm guessing you're very much aware of what went on.
Yeah, so he looked, saw, talked to my coach, and he said, obviously, you got a lot of fights, but he had was like what 2-6 in the last year. He's going in and taking a paycheck. Look, complete. I mean, I can't talk about any fighting. I don't want to. I'm not going to. He had the balls to get in there. It was a glorified sparring match to be able to get Warren up to date on some. And I mean, we're about to get some rounds in here. Like, I don't need lights and cameras to get wars, bro. Like it's just different. But if you need that kind of mental prep to be able to go in there and to prepare for a guy like me, good. I mean, be real, you have better luck running through hell with your underwear soaked in gasoline than with a guy like me. Just saying.
What kind of mental preparation do you need for going into going into a fight like this? Warren has said that he wants to build a legacy from this fight onwards. He wants to keep fighting, MMA legends like yourself and the Anderson Silvas of the world. So,
You don't want to
what do you
fight
need?
MMA with me. You don't want to fight MMA with me. Like, not a lot when I'm on, not just on my game, when I'm enjoying myself and I'm enjoying training. I'm put it this way, like when I go do meet and greets, I'm always on point, making sure like I'm 100% deadly. I have to be. When I was in Thailand, a lot of fans were coming up and trying to take me down. Like I had my elbows ready to go and sharp. Like it's just different when it goes into it. So I always have to be sharp. MMA makes you sharp. It just does. So if I'm having like, I have to worry about like knees, kicks, all this stuff, and I have to remember that. I remember that. Sometimes you forget when you're in the fight. But you're not like, I'm not gonna go throw elbows at this dude. I'm a Thai fighter. I'm not a boxer. You guys remember Edson Barboza?
I do,
I
yes.
went in there and I showed out Thai fight. I Thai fighter. I thought style. I love being able to match people's styles. With Khabib, I was gonna beat him at Sambo. I was gonna throw him on his back from standing. It was an Ippon. Bam, done match. That way he would understand that I schooled him in his own sport. Warren thinks that this is his sport. I'm gonna school you, Warren. I'm gonna hand it to you, bro. It doesn't matter how much help you get. They can't help you inside that ring. You can't call room service to come and rescue you. I'll fuck you up, kid. For all that you talk.
Tony, one of the reasons I wanted to ask you about the kind of mental preparation that you go through for a fight like this, because it was just over 2 years ago, I believe, if I've got my timeline correct, that you were getting put through your paces by none other than David Goggins. And I've always wanted to ask you about this kind of the Hell Week. I've read David Goggins' book, and I think it's amazing. Obviously everyone kind of
How
knows.
is it? I haven't read it.
Oh,
I've never
it's
read it.
so
He
good.
says it's good.
It is
I got
very
the real
good.
thing, so I got the real thing. So I'm kind of like, I was like, come on, Chief. I don't really want to read your, but I
Yeah, I
love it.
mean,
I'm gonna listen to it.
from where he came from and the mindset, he kind of has
All
this
right.
armored mindset now. Can you talk to me about how it was spending time with him, and was it all about just the mind? Because you can do it physically. Is that what it was all about, spending time with David Goggins? I'm very fascinated about that.
Well, I grew up wanting to be in the special forces, kid. I'm 41 years old. And one time I signed up for the Marines. I actually signed up for the Marines and the paratroopers. But the guys in the Marines, I was in the high school and I waited. I skipped football practice, which I probably shouldn't have. And he never showed up. I waited like 3 hours. Now, mind you, like I don't have my father's never really been too much in the picture. I always had my stepdad, who was different. But when people don't show up, I don't know. Nobody owes you anything. I didn't owe anybody anything, so I kind of ate 60 for a second. When I moved to California, I was like, oh, I signed up for the paratroopers. Cal State Bakersfield. I was ready to go. And I get that 7-day free pass for jiu-jitsu that pointed me in the direction for MMA.
Wow.
So when I had a chance for Goggins, it was through pandemic or even before I made weight during the pandemic when I wasn't supposed to. I did it. Only thing on the world that was going on through ESPN, watching me weigh in. Ridiculous. Some during pandemic. Goggins saw that. He thought it was badass that I made the weight that these chicken big time outstanding wrestlers skip town. Bunch of use that as an excuse instead of staying manning up and going following through with the company and being men. They acted like a bunch of cowards. Jacked out. So Goggins saw that. He's like, dude, you're a real person. And he saw the kind of declining through my performances. And he saw something mentally because I'm like, I was raised kind of military, not kind of, I was raised military, basically. So it was like he saw that my mental was strong, invited me to his compound. I took a chance and I went for a week. The first time I said, hey, can I go out there on this day? There's Halloween. You mind if I don't miss it? I don't think he took me serious.
Yeah.
Be real with you. I don't think he took me serious because he was like, let's get you out here this Friday, and Halloween was on Saturday. And I was like, And my little guys, little guys have been my little guys forever. But that's the thing. It's like you want renewal, you got to do new. So it was like I asked my wife, and she's like, "You just go." And I asked him, and I said, "Fine." And he was like, "Hey, would you mind if I go on Monday? I will be there early. I'll drive out first thing." Yeah, sure, totally no problem. But I know I should have gone like this. That's chief. Now, I never knew about the boats. I never knew about the logs. I never knew about the books. I never knew about the running. I never knew anything about Chief Goggins, coach. I don't call him Chief, call him Chief. Coach. I never knew anything. So I just knew he was cool enough to be like send me a message. He was a tough. People respected him on that one. Cool. Invites me out there. I drive out there on that Monday. We had initial briefing, walked me through a couple of things, and we went to work immediately. So I had just drove probably 4 hours, and then we worked for 3 hours. And so there was barely any time to. There was structure, but there was no pamphlet of how to do these things. The blueprint and the pamphlet was in his mind of breaking me.
Yeah.
That was his job as a drill sergeant. That was his as chief mess hall.
And he thought he
Fucking
would as well.
like this is this. There was like there's no plan. There was nothing. There was no plan. And when you're an athlete and you know that, you know what you're getting yourself into. Because usually strength and conditioning people have a plan and they have it all tedious, this and that and everything. And a person that's been through the experience and through the ringer, they're already, I don't have to write this shit down. I know what works. I know what doesn't work. And I know how to break you and I know how to build you. But you're gonna have to build it yourself because I'm here to break you. Certain people have responsibilities, right? And his responsibility was to go in there and bring the old back knee through rigorous training and through mental prep, not just the training. One thing that I probably could have did more was stretched during my after my patty fight. Like, but there was like I'm telling you, like it was. I had never been to bed before 10 o'clock until that first day when I went through training. No, no, I'm editing a video. It never happens. Never. Okay, one time I fell asleep standing up like next to my bed when I was like in high school like this. I fell asleep with my bag from being so damn tired from practice. I fell asleep standing up one time like that. It happened. I was editing the video like I'm a like, and I was like, what the? And it felt the coolest. I hadn't had that feeling for so long, but I respected the shit out of it that somebody had the balls to invite and have follow through. That's two different things. Some people will invite, but they won't have follow through of what they say they can do or accomplish with you. And that follow through is everything. A lot of people talk a lot, right? What he did was have follow through, so I made sure I followed through with my part. And the other part that he would tell me is that a lot of the athletes would try to negotiate with him. They would be like, "How many are we gonna do?" They would ask how many or what they were gonna do next. This I never said anything besides "sir," and he clowned on me. He's like, "You said sir probably maybe 1,000 times that whole entire week." You talk about a mile of walking lunges was our warm up for the stair climber on one of the days. Like, dude, it was nuts, nuts. And the cool thing was, is before that we would have our briefing before like every morning, and he would watch a film, and he would be like, "You see that guy?" I'd be all bloody. He's like, "Where is that guy?" And like he would talk how a big brother, like how a good coach, how like somebody that has been through the. I've been through a lot of. He's been through a lot of. And to be able to relate to people that have been through this, to be able to make something amazing, and to move a plant to where it needs more light and nutrients and a certain thing, and watch it grow. That experience has been just amazing. And it's cool. I don't have too much from that except for a badass coin that I got. All I ever wanted, man, was something like that. Is that relationship? And I asked him, I was like, compared to a lot of the Navy SEALs and a lot, he's like Tony. He's like, a lot of those guys are compared to your mentality. They don't have the same mentality as you. He's like, you're different. You're special on that. He's like, you need to make sure you take care of that. And I had that, man. It took me a second to be able to get to that mentality again. But it's through rigorous work, through smart, rigorous work. That's you can wish it. Somebody can tell you it, but until you're ready to accept it and to have that follow through, You ain't gonna see you do. Promise.
And that's exactly, the point I was trying to make when you said I'm an athlete. I think that's exactly what sets you apart, even though you're the older fighter to someone like Warren Spencer in terms of the experiences you've been through, in and out of your UFC career and that Hell Week with David Goggins. I mean, the way he's described it in his book, it's like no one ever wants to go through something like that in their entire life, and it completely changes you as a person for the rest of your life. Tony, I really appreciate your time today. I just want to ask you one more thing before I let you go. It was recently announced that Charles Oliveira would rematch Max Holloway for the BMF belt in March at UFC 326. Can I just get your thoughts on that matchup? I know you've been in there with Charles. Who do you kind of see coming out on top in that one?
You want to hear the truth about my fight with Charles?
Mm,
I practiced one time for that fight.
wow.
One time. And so when I went in through a lot of times, I said that I mean I took the fight on short notice. I took I nobody really was around. The one time that I did, I got like maybe like 15 minutes worth of jujitsu, and then I cut the rest of my hair off for Susie Q, or the makeup artist for uh, the UFC. She passed away, and then I connected her to like one of my guys. Like, dude, I remember that week. It was like so like crazy, but my care wasn't to like go out there and like I don't know. It was weird. I took the fight to help the company, and I did the best I possibly could. I was looking for a Darce from bottom for like the longest time, and I got it in the third round. Damn near cinched it. But I knew he was going to take my back. And so, like, the whole entire time, I said this to myself, I'm a black belt. I'm going to keep my back to the mat the whole entire time. I was like, watch. I was like, he's going to try to take my arm. If he tries to take my arm, I'm going to get up. I'm going to use that. And I remember when he grabbed my arm, uh, I had brought my family in the week before, and my kid, my wife, and my sons, they could move their arm a little bit hyperextended a little bit. Like it's kind of weird, like 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 don't do that. And I remember like he fell one time and his arm was like that. I was like, hey, I was like, watch your arm. I was like, don't hurt yourself. You want to land all weird. And I kind of thought about it. I was like, damn, that's like a lot. Now, how come I can't do that? I'm new fight and I know it. And I'm starting right there and I see it. And I hear we got 30 seconds left, and then you hear that 10-second clap. And I'm like, you go ahead and take it, bitch. And I remember my son at that time, and I was like, if he can do it, I can do it. Let it go. He tried to break it, try to do his thing. I got up, dusted it off, walked back to my corner, and I went through. And I went through this shit. And at the end of it, yeah, I do. Because there was times when I could have finished him, I hit him, but he had this like star power look like in Nintendo when you hit somebody, you get like a star, like a Mike Tyson's punch up. And it kind of froze me for a second. And that goes into finishing where Gaethje, I could have finished Gaethje with an uppercut.
Mm.
There were certain things about hurting people and finishing things that I had to get back to, with not feeling bad for hurting. And that goes into practice. In wrestling, I didn't care. I would wrestle all the damn time. And going into this sport, I would hurt people all the time, but then I stopped. At a certain part of me became dad, not wanting to hurt people and like do certain, like it was like weird, man. And it's a growth process that not a lot of people will understand. Athletes go through it all the time. But when I go back and you ask me about Max Holloway or Charles Oliveira, when I look at Charles, I'm like, dude, I'm not this for him. I don't hate on it. But what I do is I slapped him on the ass and I made him walk with me. Be like, hey, homie, look, don't waste this opportunity. Because if you do, I'm going to come back after your ass. Okay? Go. So what better else than to do that for not for every person, but at least be that guy when I take these fights. I'm giving my best effort. Sometimes I might not have been the best camps, man, but that's life, and you move on through it. This is how it goes. Look at the actors. Look at Bruce Willis. Anybody's ever watched Die Hard movies or anything with Bruce Willis? They're like big, huge fans. Bruce is Bruce is not making movies anymore. He's with family, living life and doing his thing. Like this only lasts for so long, guys. You got to realize that. So all the hate and all the love and everything that you got, we take that and we love. I mean, I love it so much because I've had from both. I've had dealing with from Khabib all the way to McNuggets to all this shit. So it's been a blessing. It's been an amazing ride. I'm not over yet with this. 2026, I'm gonna be doing some freestyle wrestling. I'm gonna be doing some heavy jiu-jitsu grappling, boxing,
RAF.
boxing, obviously, and I'm gonna be getting back into MMA. That's four sports. I'm usually playing three in a year. Usually that's what I miss. MMA, I was only doing one. All about an athlete. The busier I am, the more structured I am, the better I am, the better everything feels and looks, man.
Mm.
Especially my hairline.
Yeah, Tony, we all know how active you want to be. Tony, I really appreciate your time today. I'm looking forward to seeing you back out there on December 20th. And honestly, you've been so great to chat to you in Manchester and here now. So thank you so much again, and I wish you all the best.
I'm my guy, man. We'll see you soon, guy.
Enjoy your session.
Cheers.